Hello, everyone, and a very good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to each one of you. I'm Smriti from Team Luneblaze, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us today. And we are so delighted to get connected with the educators and the school leaders who are basically committed to strengthening the quality in the education. So today's webinar focuses on documentation is SQAAF Domain to infrastructure. So talking about the same, when we think of an infrastructure, we often think it of as the classrooms, laboratories, libraries, sports facilities, and the school buildings. But however, SQAAF looks beyond the availability of these facilities. It evaluates that how effectively they are planned, maintained, utilized, and monitored continuously, which can provide a safe, inclusive, and learner-friendly environment to our students. So this is where the documentation becomes essential. It's not merely a collection of records, but it is an evidence of the systems and processes that supports the quality infrastructure and institutional excellence. So as school works together for SQAAF implementation, an important question arises that are our infrastructure documents simply records of our facilities, or do they truly reflect the quality of infrastructure management in our school? So that's what in today's session, we'll explore the documentation expected under SQAAF Domain 2. We'll understand the purpose behind these documents and discuss the practical approaches to maintain them effectively. So by the end of this webinar, we are expecting you will have a clear understanding of how well-structured documentation can demonstrate a school's commitment of quality, safety, and continuous improvement. So before we proceed ahead, let me take up a few minutes to introduce a bit about Luneblaze. So with over 9 years of experience in accreditation and institutional quality enhancement, Luneblaze has partnered with 100+ schools across the diverse boards and regions, helping them strengthen the quality systems and institutional excellence. So our expertise spans quality audits, documentation system, compliance readiness, capacity building, and continuous improvement. So through our work with schools, we have observed that while institutions often have strong infrastructure, demonstrating its effectiveness through the structured documentation remains a common challenge. So this webinar draws from our practical experience of helping schools that can align the infrastructure document with the expectation of SQAAF Domain 2, making the process more systematic, meaningful, and audit ready. So moving ahead, as part of our commitment to supporting the schools, we at Luneblaze conduct monthly SQAAF webinars to help educators and the school leaders strengthen their quality systems through the practical guidance and implementation-focused learning. So these sessions provide expert insights based on extensive experience in SQAAF implementation and documentation, practical strategies to help school align with their systems with SQAAF expectations, and a collaborative platform to share the best practices, address common challenges, and build institutional excellence. So as a part of this series, today's webinar focuses on the documents in SQAAF Domain 2 infrastructure, where we will explore the essential documentation, understand its purpose, and discuss how the school can maintain meaningful audit-ready records that reflect effective infrastructure management. So this webinar is a part of our monthly SQAAF training and certification series aimed at making the school quality enhancement more structured, practical, and sustainable. So moving ahead, it's my privilege to introduce the expert speaker for our today's webinar, Ms. Minnie Johnny. So Ms. Minnie Johnny is a highly accomplished educational leader with extensive experience in academic administration, teacher mentoring, and school quality enhancement. She currently serves as an academic director at Divine Providence School, Bangalore. And she has played a significant role in strengthening educational practices across schools. She is a CBSE SQAAF mentor, CBSE recertified resource person, training of trainers, and a former deputy city coordinator and district training coordinator with CBSE. And she brings deep expertise in quality standards, institutional process, and school excellence. So given today's focus on documents in SQAAF domain to infrastructure, her practical experience will help us all understand that how schools can develop systematic documentation that reflects effective infrastructure planning, maintenance, safety, and continuous improvement in line with the SQAAF expectations. We are all delighted to have us with her today and are confident that our insights will definitely make this session both practical and enriching for all the participants. So before handing over to ma'am, let me just quickly take you through the flow of today's webinar and where we'll be basically, understand first the significance of SDG 4 quality education and its connection with quality infrastructure in the schools. And from there, we'll explore SQAAF domain 2 and understand that how effective infrastructure management contributes to institutional excellence. So the session will again focus on the documentation ecosystem, key infrastructure documents and their alignment with the SQAAF standards and the characteristics of audit-ready documentation. We will also, discuss a practical case study to understand that how these documents support effective implementation. And towards the end, we'll share that how Luneblaze supports school in their SQAAF implementation and provide an overview of our SQAAF webinar series and conclude it with a dedicated Q&A session to address your queries. So with that all said, it's my pleasure to invite our esteemed speaker, Ms. Mini Johnny, to take this session forward and share her valuable insights on documents in SQAAF domain 2 infrastructure. Thank you so much and over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Can I have a hi from your end? Are you able to hear me? Yeah, thank you, Pallavi. Yeah. Yes, Gunjan, thank you. Thank you, Anita. Yeah, yes, Sindhuja. Thank you, everyone. So we'll start the session. Yeah, thank you. So let me ask you a question, that is, what is sustainable development? You can answer. We can only way we can interact each other is good evening, everyone. We can only interact through the chat box. So let us make it as much as possible, dear colleagues. Yeah. So my first question is sustainable development goals. Can you just tell me which was the we celebrated World Environment Day on June 5th? I just would like to know what is the theme of the year by UN for the World Environment Day. What was the theme? Can you write? Yes. Can you write in the chat box? Inspired, Sindhuja, TS, very good, excellent. Inspired by nature for climate for our future. Yes, I'm very thankful to you, and it is very wonderful that you have answered. So let us see, we have, and how many STD goals we have? How many STD goals we have? You can write. How many STD goals we have? Yeah, 17. Yes, correct. Exactly. 17, Gunjan Sharma. Kumar, it is, yes. Fusion skills, 17. Yes. So you are all very much aware of the STD goals, which are adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030, all the people enjoy peace and prosperity. And which SDG goal is for education? Can you activate your chat box? Yes, roll number 4. Oh, Sindhuja, you are very expert in SDGs. I'm very happy that you are answering all the points. So quality education ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Dear teachers, you can see all these 17 goals which are integrated in our curriculum as a part of our studies. And this will bring about the sustainability and Our students will be learning more about SDGs in their day-to-day life. And how can they bring in sustainability in their everyday life? Shall we go to the next slide, Smriti? Yes. Let us begin with you. So you can see here a school can have excellent infrastructure and still score poorly in SQAAF domain too. Yes. How, Gunjan Sharma, you are saying yes. A school can have excellent infrastructure and still score poorly in SQAAF domain too, that is infrastructure. They have digital classrooms. They have very good, well-equipped labs, library, resource centers, sports activities, facilities. But you see, there are schools which they do not have. These facilities, they will get a poor score. Can a school have excellent infrastructure? Yes, and still score poorly in SQAAF domain too. Yes, your answer is correct. Gunjan as well as Gunjan, that is, yes, we can score very poor. Next slide. See, we may categorize some schools as they are having lot of resources, infrastructure facilities, but there is no evidence, there is no documentation that matters for the SQAAF. So can you just tell me, please write in the chat box, what is the full form of SQAAF? What is the full form of SQAAF? Full form. Yeah. Can you just write what is the full form of SQAAF? Yes. Yeah. School quality assessment and assurance framework. Jessica, yes, thank you so much. It is excellent. Again, you are all very much, you are all very knowledgeable teachers who have come for the session today, or administrators. I know there are so many HMs are there, as well as administrators and high level, what we say, stakeholders who are attending today's session. So as you said, why documentation matters in SQAAF? Building a culture of accountability, transparency, and continuous improvement. Let us see what is the culture of accountability? What do you mean by accountability? You all know that. Who is accountable for what when we give a responsibility? And documentation clears everything very transparent. So whatever infrastructure we have, whatever maintenance we are doing, whatever resources we are having, whatever budgets we are planning, everything has an evidence documented. And it helps us to improve continuously in our journey in the school education. Again, you can see transparency and accountability from all the stakeholders who are involved in it. Evidence-based decisions. Unnecessarily, we will not spend money. Whatever evidences are there, based on that, we will improve upon our resources. Continuous improvement can happen when there is documentation happens. Track progress over time. Continuous tracking what is happening. And we will become CBSE inspection readiness. It is not that we are going to be ready when the notice comes for us an inspection. Collaborative planning. It is not done by one single individual, a single person. It is done by a team of the school team consisting of the principal, the management, the principal, the staff, the non-teaching staff, and all the stakeholders. They will be involving in this. And the documentation is just like an institutional memory. We say Google memory, like that. A person who comes to our school after 5 years of service at a principal or an administrator leaves, the documentation helps the newcomer, the new principal or the vice principal or anybody for that matter. They can just go through the documentation and they can understand how the culture of the school was followed and where are the flaws. How can we improve upon that? And it has to be aligned with NEP 2020. Next slide, please. So as we know that NEP 2020 and we have NCF school education, the policy says that SQAAF is very mandatory. Understanding SQAAF domain 2. Let us understand SQAAF domain 2. It is infrastructure. Today we are dealing with the documents and evidences what is needed for infrastructure domain, which focuses on creating, maintaining. We have a beautiful building. If it doesn't maintain, what happens? And continuously improving a safe where everyone feels safe, inclusive, all the children, the special children, they all feel safe, barrier-free access, and all the resources are functional and aesthetically designed learning environment. Our classrooms, our labs, our restrooms, each and every area of our school that supports holistic student development. Dear friends, we are going to look at the key areas covered. The first one is here, learning spaces. You know that our classrooms, we make it very vibrant. Our labs, physics lab, chemistry lab, biology lab, computer lab, robotic lab, and you think about whatever labs you have, math lab, library, ICT, activity rooms. These are all our learning spaces. When we come to school, everything is learning spaces for us. Our ground is a learning space. Our garden is a learning space. What not? Our small kitchen is a learning space. Administrative infrastructure, where the principal's office, as well as the office, staff room, admin office, how these are all maintained. Health and well-being, infirmary working in a school. As per the guidelines given by CBSE, safe drinking water, sanitation, safety and security, safety procedures, safety provisions. What are the safety provisions we are giving? A second. I would like to inform the Luneblaze Smriti or whoever is admitting the participants. A few of them are messaging me that they are unable to join. So please do consider their numbers are given means, no, please do consider them.
When the webinar team is connected with them, we are looking into the same.
Thank you so much. Okay, yeah. So health and well-being, infirmary, how the settings are there, what are the evidences or documentation is happening over there. Then you can see about the safe drinking water and sanitation, safety and security. That is, what are the safety provisions, child protection measures, POXO. These are how are we taking into our documenting all this, whether there is a committee formed and who are the members of the committee. Yes, Gunjan, by establish a safety and security committee. Yes, establishing a safety and security committee. I hope that you all have these committees. That is why Gunjan you are all answering very fast. Thank you so much. Okay. Safety and security, then sustainable campus. We have to check whether our campus is sustainable, how it is. We have efficient furnitures, lighting facility, and eco-friendly environment and green practices. Do we have solar energy? How do we utilize our wastewater? How is the waste management is happening? It's all happen, yes, by audit report. Thank you, Gunjan. Student support facilities. How is our sports? How is our canteen working? What are the documents are kept there? How is our transport working? How is our hostel working? So canteen and hostel is only for SQAAF will ask only those schools they are having hostel facilities. Canteen is asked for desk schools they are having canteen. So as a SQAAF mentor, when I visited in Kanpur, one of the schools, very prestigious schools, they had all the things, but they were lagging only in documentation. They showed me wonderful pictures. They have a beautiful campus, but thing was, nothing was documented. A misconception of ours is that we think if we exhibit all the photographs in our websites or in our newsletters, everything is happening. But it is not like that. Next slide. Yes. The documentation mindset shift, as we say, how was a growth mindset? Same way, we should have a documentation mindset. How can we have a growth? How can we have a documentation mindset? Moving from documenting infrastructure as an asset to document it as a system that supports quality education. I have 100 computers. It is not that. That is an asset. Instead of that, it is a system that supports quality education for our students. Let us see what is the traditional approach. Focus on the availability of infrastructure. Documentation created mainly during inspection. It is very true. I have done it. I know many of the principals are doing it. But we have to shift from what we were doing before into SQAAF aligned approach. This helps us to become a process-oriented school. See, focus on the availability of infrastructure. We can focus on adequacy. We can focus on functionality, focus on safety, and utilization of resources. Adequacy, we should have, the number of students are there. What are the things we need? Whether all the things or the furniture or everything, any infrastructure for that matter, are working or not, functioning or not, and is safe and utilized, fully optimum utilization of the resources. And a traditional approach, you can see that documentation created mainly during inspections. But now, as per the SQAAF aligned approach, it is documentation maintained as an ongoing institutional practice. It is happening every day, it is happening. That means how we take up lessons in a classroom every day, same way the documentation should happen in our SQAAF domain too. Maintenance carried out only when an issue arises. But in SQAAF aligned approach, you can see preventive maintenance planned. Before something happens, we are planning. We are monitoring it and documented regularly. See, when anything which is not functional, when it happened, who repaired it, the maintenance person, the AMC, the person who is in charge of that, everything is recorded periodically. We can have it as systematically we can document and we can monitor. The school examination is happening. The printer is not working. Why didn't we check into that before? So we should have frequent checks on different infrastructure on time. Record maintained in isolation. All the records, whatever the SQAAF says, most of the records are interrelated. See, policies planning, implementation, evidence, and reviews are interconnected. Dear teachers, dear friends, you can see that how they are interconnected. What do you mean by policy? Can you just write in the chat box? What do you mean by policy? Yeah, I am looking for your answers. What do you mean by policy? An institutional policy. What do you mean by an institutional policy? See, institutional policy provide the guiding principle and standard. Yes, excellent, Sindhuja. Yes, Sindhuja and Gunjan, you are all very much, well expert, I hope. Thank you so much. Yeah. That is nothing but guiding principles and standards. From where do we get these guiding principles and standards? Where it is written? From where do we take it, these guiding principles and standards? Please activate your chat box. Let us be active learners. See, sitting here in the screen in the front as well as you are at the back, behind the screen, we cannot communicate. Yes, Pallavi, yes. So what we have to do, we have to be, see whether you try to write so that now I can read and we will have an interaction. At least we will have an interactive classroom than a lecture method. I never believe that now. Yes, partly inspired by the board's guidelines, but also driven by, yes, it is a very good answer. It is not partly, it is fully taken from the board's guidelines and also driven by the institution's vision and mission. Excellent. Yes, policies are guiding principles and standards which are taken from NEP, governing rules and guidelines by institution and board, description of each department and their roles and responsibility. Yes, others can also write. Okay, everybody can write. There is no good or correct. We don't say that all answers are correct for me, or we will learn. So I say these guidelines are from board, first NEP 2020 and all the curriculum documents, and we take from all the circulars issued by the board. Whenever the board is issuing something they are giving us any kind of always we can see board is evolving. They will not stick on to one. They always implement new policies. And we as teachers or as institution, what we have to do, define as per our policy what must be maintained, how often we should maintain, and who is responsible. This is what our policy should follow. Then what is planning? Planning is planning nothing but translate policies into actionable schedules and resource allocation. It ensures preventive maintenance is proactive rather than reactive. If a machine gets stuck, we get reactive. Actually, we should be very proactive because for this we should have planning. We have not done our planning. The next one is implementation. What is implementation? Execution of planned tasks. That is, for example, inspections, servicing, risk placement, training the staff, adherence to safety protocols, and timely action. Next one is evidence. Documentation of all action taken. Logbook should be there. Reports should be written. Digital records. We can keep everything now digitally. Computer-assisted system we can use. It is all serving as a proof of compliance and a basis for performance analysis. Next one is reviews. Regular evaluation of evidence against policy objectives. Identify the gaps, recurring issues, and opportunities for improvement. This leads to policy refinement and updated planning. And again, we are restarting the planning or restarting the cycle. So let us see. Policies and planning and implementation, evidence and reviews are interconnected. Never treat them as isolated, compartmentalized. Infrastructure seen as a physical resource. We think whatever we find with our eyes, the building is infrastructure. Look into your room, all the things, whatever is there, everything is infrastructure. The fan is an infrastructure, the light is an infrastructure, the cupboards are infrastructure, everything is infrastructure. And we should view infrastructure as an enabler of learning, well-being, and inclusion. See, well-being is nothing but a person who is healthy and well-being, that infrastructure should assist them. Next one, you see, in traditional approach, what we do, improvement based on immediate needs. What is needed? Most of the managements, I too have that experience. They will ask us, what is needed right now? That is what they do. But they never do what is the SQAAF says, that is improvement driven by monitor, then feedback and feed forward and continuous review. Just like a child, we have different diverse learners. A student, we give them remedial teaching. How can we make remedial action plan beforehand? Same way for an institution, we also should make a remedial approach. Next slide, please. If you have any doubts, you can post in the chat box. I am seeing the chat box also. Now, types of documents. Dear friends, you can go through the documents, what we need. From here it starts. Document type. That is, and what are its purposes. Policy documents, just now as you have told and we discussed, define the school's vision, commitment, and guiding principles for infrastructure, safety, health, and sustainability. You might have seen. You just look into your vision statement of your school, you will find most of these things are not documented. Our policy is not documented. We find our vision statement with beautiful words. Our infrastructure, high infrastructure, we say, we should see whether it is functioning or not. It is useful for the students. We should not unnecessarily invest money on dead investment. It is. Whatever resources are there, we have to fully utilize. Next one is planning documents. Policy document is the first one, and planning document outline infrastructure planning, budgeting. Without budgeting, nothing should go. Procurement, which vendor, which company. Please go deep research into that. Maintenance, AMC, why we should have, and resource allocation. Operational records and registers. We have attendance register. Same way, we should have maintain a day-to-day record of assets. What are the assets of a school? Can you just write your chat box? Please, can you be active? Chat box, assets. Yeah, are you writing your assets? Our school is an asset, right? See, I have taken our assets. This is a document. This is a document. Yeah. Session on document. I have taken so many documents for us. Practically attendance, land equipment, library, each thing schools are assessed. Yes, sir. You are telling generally, but I tell you, I just read out these assets because this is a document session. I felt I should be bringing some documents for my session. Building, borewell, water pump, computer and laptop, generator, furniture. Yes, you can also write, okay. Generator, furniture, solar water heater, mic set, CCTV, equipment, smart board, vehicle, GPS, printer, fire extinguisher, mobile phones, UPS inverter, laptop, musical instrument, website, everything, software, everything is our assets. Yes. Now we are talking about the infrastructure, okay? That is academics. Okay, yes, cash, yes, sir, Anita Jairam, cash and balance, yes. Yes, ma'am, Anita, ma'am. Thank you for joining the session. Ma'am is an academic director. Yeah. Yes, CCTV, Pallavi. Yes. Tangible and fixed assets. Yes, Induja. Technological assets. Exactly. Now let us go to the operational registers. Assets, inventories, maintenance, inspections, utilization, and statutory compliance. So as stakeholders, as a principal or a vice principal or a teacher or any person for that matter, an administrator, we should have all these records. Implementation evidence. How did we implement it? For that also we should have an evidence. What is implementation evidence? Demonstrate that facilities, services, and infrastructure systems are actively implemented and utilized. Never, whatever resources we have, our CCTV is not working, then we are wasting money on that. We should always think that how to rectify it. See, when we buy, there are certain, most of the infrastructure will go as per the CBSE guidelines to get an affiliation. After getting an affiliation, some of the schools, there are so many schools, they well maintained. Okay, but there are so many schools, they are excellent in academics and in infrastructure, but they do not maintain any documents. There the problem comes. Now you can see monitoring and improvement documents. Monitoring. What did you notice today? Please do monitor whatever resources we have. Record inspections, audits, reviews. What is a review written over there? Feedback or feed forward system. Never think about something happened bad, past. We should not keep on that in our head. It happened like that. Now how next we can improve our system? Always think, ongoing improvement in our system. We should not go back to the previous, what happened in the past. That should make a lesson. We should learn a lesson from that. Take corrective actions and continuous improvement initiatives. Do you all agree with me? Are you all there with me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Yeah, thank you, Anita ma'am. Thank you, Sindhuja. Thank you, Gunjan, Merlin. Thank you, sir. Kumar, Alka. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that appreciation. Now let us see. Next slide, please. Yes, these are the documents what the SQAAF team will ask you. Your school should make very much, you should be knowing about. The area they are going to check. First one is library. You have beautiful books in your library. But if you do not have a qualified librarian, what happens? Library is not a place where only books are there. Now, library is a flexible place where many activities can be done. So in such a way, library policy, what is your library policy? It should be written. And library accession register, library issue and return register. All these things are there in all schools. Digital library usage and records, reading promotion activity reports. CBSE encourages a lot of reading. Right? ICT and digital learning. What is our ICT policy? ICT asset register, ICT lab usage register, internet usage register policy, information and media, information and literacy plan. Why we should have our area of activity rooms and innovation? Activity room timetable should be pasted over there. Where is our innovation center? Is there a register kept there? In our robotic lab, CBSE has introduced AI. See, is there what work is happening there every day? Are we having a register for that? Marker space, STEM lab utilization records. How many periods they are using? What are they doing? How do we know? So everywhere, all the equipments which are there to be recorded and what activities happening there, that we have to record. If you have an innovation center, that also to be recorded. Principal's office and administration. You can that you all know very well. Infrastructure maintenance register should be there. visitor register, meeting room utilization register. For what purpose we used, why, when, time, who is person responsible, and it should be recorded. Health and well-being. Health and well-being policy, very important for us. Medical room register, student health record, health checkup reports, and first aid stock register. Health and wellness policy, you should also know that, the children, they are having a lot of problems with the adolescence issues. Menstrual hygiene, what kind of classes are you giving? Is there a record of that? Recently, one of the schools, we have seen that, we have come to know that the washrooms are, most of the toilets, is not, it is what we say clogged. What is the reason? Third standard students or fourth standard students, when they got the periods, they were very much surprised, or they were very unaware how to dispose it. They disposed directly into the flush tank and other areas. So health and wellness is, we should have a counselor, what kind of activities we are doing, record, make the children aware how it should be maintained. Take classes for them, maintain records. Children will ask you a lot of questions. Water sanitation, drinking water testing reports, you should have CBSE ask from us. See, I have again kept one more resource for you to tell. There is one self-declaration certification pro forma is there from the CBSE. They will ask us, let me just tell you, they will ask you fire safety certificate number, they will ask you. Expiry date, they will ask you. And who is the issuing authority? District fire officer. It should be there. And again, building safety certificate. We have a huge building. Is there safe? Is it safe or unsafe? For that, building safety certificate number should be there. And who is attesting that? The issuing authority is not below the rank of an assistant engineer in PWD. Okay. Third one, building safety certificate expiry. These inspections, whenever it is happening, we should have a record of it. We should not think that after 3 years or whenever CBSE is asking us to upload for our school to upgrade or to section increase. We should have always this with us. We should be knowing. Next one is water and sanitation certificate. They will ask you which that there is a number for that. Also, they will ask who is the issuing authority, medical officer, date of the sanitation and certificate. They will tell, and how many years it is valid. When we have to renew that. So these are all very important for us. And how are we? Sanitation inspection register. As stakeholders, we have to go into the washrooms of the children, restrooms, find out where they are disposing the things. Waste disposal register, drainage maintenance register, furniture. We have beautiful classrooms, but we do not know how many desks and benches we have, how many teachers' desks and benches we have. One day go for an inspection, then you will come to know that what are the furnitures available. And furniture repairs and replacement register. If furniture is repaired, some carpenter came and repaired. No, we should maintain. When did they come? For this, who is responsible? Replacement register. Yes, something is replaced, which is not working. Then when it is replaced, when is the next one has come? Who is responsible? The pricing, everything should be written over there. Can you give me a thumbs up? We can go to the next slide. Thank you. Thank you, Gunjan. Next. Yes. Again, other essential documents. These are the oxygen in a system. Lighting and ventilation. Additional documents. Electrical. This is the thing which we always face. Electrical inspection reports. When did it happen? The maintenance register, lighting, ventilation assessment records. I hope you are all making points of this, because this is a wonderful seminar given by Luneblaze for me. It made me to go through all the things, whatever I was doing for an inspection. Okay. But this has enhanced my knowledge. Same way, you also should be doing this. If you are a teacher, please go to the school and tell your principal. If you are a principal, sir, please, sir or ma'am, please go and ask, these are the things we are going to make. Please do the action tomorrow or Monday. Monday onwards, let us act. Eco-friendly practices. What is our green policy? How is our green sustainability? Do we have energy audit report? Our children unnecessarily switch on, switch off the fans. Who is in charge for that? Energy audit report. Please have a control. Find out each month how much electricity we are using, how much water we are consuming. So we should have an electricity consumption register, water conservation records. These are all resources of the earth. Plantation, tree plantation. And if you have any other sewage plant, all these things, you have to maintain. And green audit report. Find out what all things we have in our school in green policy. Do we have solar panels? How are we accommodating our school's energy? Next one is safety, school safety policy. This should be there. Disaster management plan. We should have a school building plan, classroom layout, first floor layout, and how the disaster management. When there is a disaster, that time we should not think. Think about how can we plan it and make a record of that. And who is responsible? Everything is who is responsible. And give them a date and time. How is our timetable is happening? How is our periodic test is happening? How is our midterm, pre-midterm, post-midterm? Like that, we should have a report. Fire safety fire safety audit report. Yes, fire safety. How many fire drills happened? It is not for the purpose of showing the children a fire drill and keeping a record. It should be properly making them understand. These are all drills are happening. Everybody should understand what is the purpose of this. They think, oh, why this drill is happening every year, 2-3 times. Nothing is happening. That is what first we should tell the students, objective behind it. Include all these areas into our teaching learning process. Then it is well understood by the children. Emergency evacuation records. Thank you, Pallavi, for that appreciation. Emergency evacuation records. In emergency, how the children will evacuate the place. Incident and accident register. In the school, we are dealing with not goods. They are living bodies. Anytime, any incident can happen, any accident can happen. Immediately, what happened in the corridor? Oh, it happened in the corridor. Nothing happened to the child. No, record it. Everything should have a SOP manual, standard operating procedure. Write a detailed information. Give what happened. Never feel I should not be telling this. Everything should be as recorded. I said, Google memories like that. These memories are nothing but for the newcomers to learn. Sports equipment register. Every year we will buy. Ground inspection register. Every day go and inspect. Somebody should be responsible for that. Before going into the classroom, check in the morning. Is there a snake is there? Sports facility maintenance record. Annual sports infrastructure review. Everything like an annual exam. At the end of the year, we have to review. School canteen. Food safety inspection reports. Kitchen hygiene checklist. Vendor verification records. Pest control records. If you have water tanks, if you are cleaning it, we all have. We have to keep how many times in a year we are cleaning it, maintain a register. Because we are drinking that water, or as per the CBSE potable drinking water certificate we should get. RO water. So purified water we should give to the children. Please make a note of all these aspects. Transport. You all know that our children, yes, thank you, Kumar. Thank you so much, sir. Transport policy. What is our policy? We'll write in our almanac very well. You all will write. Are we following it? Now, this is a session where I can show you all the documents every one of us have. It is simply written? No, we should follow. Vehicle fitness certificate, driver and escort verification records. Attendance register of the student should be there. First aid box should be there. Driving license of the drivers. Police verification, first thing. Then check on alcohol. Vehicle maintenance register. That we will maintain because that we have to claim. Route plan, emergency contact number. And we know tracking. All these things we do. But what we have to do is consistently. Thank you, Smriti. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. What is document and what is an evidence? Document is nothing but policy document, infrastructure policy. What is the evidence? You can find infrastructure audits like our academic audits, infrastructure audits, maintenance records, photographs of facilities. What is a photograph of facility? Before and after. Before a repair and after a repair. What happened? Policy of school safety and security. Fire drill reports, evacuation records, emergency preparedness logs. What happens in an emergency? We have to make SOPs. A person is coming from the gate to our school, we should have an SOP. If you are taking an admission, we should have an SOP. Everything should have process oriented. It is not person oriented. Today I am here in this school, tomorrow somebody else comes, it is my duty as long as I am there. We have to make this register well. Absolutely. Yes, Pallavi. We should be taking care of that. As teachers, you take care of your lesson plan, your program of work, day-to-day activities. Same way, infrastructure also should be well maintained. Then planning, annual infrastructure maintenance plan, AMC records, manufacturer's recommendation, how can we use intensity of usage and environmental conditions. Prioritize critical assets like machinery, then IT systems and infrastructure to minimize downtime. Define clear responsibilities for staff. Next, you can see ICD development. Already we have said that. So these are all, sometimes this will be repeated. So don't feel that it's all repeated slides. No, it is very thoughtfully done. The document, what it is and what is an evidence. ICT inventory is an evidence. Lab timetable is an evidence. Usage of records is an evidence. Training records is a record. If you are sending your ICT teachers for training, STEM training, yes, where did they go? Where is the certificate? Let everything have a record. Planning health and wellness plan. I told you, health checkup reports. Health checkup, the parents also will give us. Why a child is falling sick many times? It is a question for us, a concern for us. Infirmary records. How many of them are coming into the infirmary every day? Name of the child, class. What is the reason they are coming? There is a nurse or a doctor, a female nurse or a female nurse or a female nurse with a male doctor or a male doctor with a female, vice versa. Okay. Usage records and health checkup, infirmary records, awareness program reports. This is what I was telling. Menstrual cycle. This is the time now we have to tell in small children what happens, because nowadays some mothers, they are educated, they share with them. Some of them they do not say. So not only this education we have to give from class 3 onwards. Whatever it is, adolescence education we have to give, because we are the teachers, we have to, or the stakeholders we have to give. I'm not basically, whether we are administrator or teacher, we are not management, means we are basically a teacher. That is why I always say teachers. I hope there is, thank you, Kumar. So we can go to the next slide. Yes. Common pitfalls. What are the pitfalls we have in documentation? We prepare only before inspections or assessments. But SQAAF, what they are expecting, it should be maintained as a continuous institutional practice. You can see there are awards are given for institutions for their effort to make school into a standardized or quality institution where they meet all these facilities, all these expectations. Sorry, not facilities, expectations. Again, infrastructure exists, but supporting records are incomplete or outdated. Documents should be current, well maintained, reflect the actual practice. When you open a book, it should show, yes, what are the practices are existing in our school. Another pitfall is policies, plans exist without implementation evidence. We can see the policy very clearly. We can see well planned, but registers are not updated without no evidences, no clear linkages between planning, implementation, and supporting evidence. There should be a link, a connection. Registers are maintained irregularly or lack essential details. But SQAAF expectation is update regularly, accurately, and visit or verify periodically. Monitoring records are maintained without follow-up actions. You can see that some of the classrooms, the fan is not working, the tube light is not there. If the classroom is in a different place where there is darkness, no ventilation properly, what happens? So SQAAF expectation is reviews leads to corrective actions, improvements, and documented follow-up. Why should we go to a doctor when we have a disease? They tell us not to follow up. What is the reason? This is nothing but maintaining our body. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you for the appreciation. Maintain our body. Why do we maintain our body? Why do we do exercise? The people are so much they've spent for their body for maintaining. So health is also important. That is what. Same way, we should have a healthy institution. Are you all agreeing with me? A struggle for students and teachers if you do not maintain. Yes, yes, true, true. Thank you everyone for your, yes, Merlin, thank you. Next slide, please. Hello, yeah, here, master documentation ecosystem. Please clearly see this. What is master documentation ecosystem? You know, we have a master plan when we construct a house or a school. Same way, school is an ecosystem. So what is our documentation ecosystem? Vision and institutional goals. One minute, 1 second. Take a pic of this pic. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. Yeah. Vision and institutional goals. Ma'am, this Pallavi, this presentation will be recorded and it is there. It will be there in the Luneblaze company. It will be there. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So vision and institutional goals, we can see we have already, we were talking about the vision of the school and we have institutional goals. Infrastructure policies we discussed, budget allocation, infrastructure development plan, annual maintenance plan, and procurement plan. And again, we are coming to infrastructure policies and frameworks. What is an infrastructural policies and framework? It is facilities management, maintenance of activities. Maintenance we plan, but the maintenance activities. Then Resource utilization. Procurement will do these resources when they come, how do we utilize? And safety measures. Implementation and operation. Facilities management again, maintenance of activities again, resource utilization and safety management. Here we will gather evidences, evidence generation. We will have registers, inventories, inspection records, photographs, certificates, any service certificates for that matter. That is, you know that if you have inspections, repairs and replacements, log preventive actions, that is lubrications, calibration, cleaning, all these things, whatever you want to know nowadays, we'll get certificates. And how we are using it, usage records, monitoring and review, internal audits. Monitoring and review, we should have internal audits. We should appoint our staff, make them, empower them to go for an inspection audit. What internal audits they will do? So we have to divide this work for them. Let them go for safety inspections before the board asks us. Feedback and feed forward. I always say feedback. We will say feedback is that something which is telling us, but let us have feed forward. Whatever we have done, okay, how can we rectify it? Compliance reviews, gap analysis, where we have to improve. Last one is improvement and action planning. Corrective actions, infrastructure upgradation, resource optimization, and continuous improvement. See, we do not have if you do not have classrooms nowadays, that section increase is very easy for the CBSE, and they have relaxed so many rules. So how do we optimize our infrastructure or upgrade, and how do we use our resources in optimum level, and how do we continuously improvement in our infrastructure? That is keeping our documents as well as evidences. So this is a master documentation ecosystem. Next slide. Shall we go? Good to go to the next slide. Thank you, Smriti. Yeah. Infrastructure documentation, school policy on institutional planning, that is infrastructure. We have discussed infrastructure development and improvement plan. Please take a pic of this, okay? Because we are going to have the same kind of, yeah. This we are going to explain one after the other. Key areas are covered here: school policy on institutional planning, infrastructure development and improvement plan, building layout and infrastructure planning records, infrastructure budget and resource allocation. Budgeting is very important. And what resource we are going to allot the funds? Assets, stock and inventory registers, maintenance, repair and IMC records, infrastructure utilization and accessibility records, infrastructure monitoring, reviewing and gap analyzing, and last one, school improvement plans for infrastructure enhancement. You can see there, read. Infrastructure documents reflects how the school plans, develops, maintains, monitors, and continuously improves the physical environment to ensure adequacy. This is very important term in the SQAAF document. Total number of students, accordingly, do we have the infrastructure? Functionality, do they function properly? Utilization, safety, is it giving safety for the students? Accessibility, can the children can access it, barrier-free access, and aesthetics, what is the beauty of the building or the classroom or any places, how it is. That is why infrastructure, this is very important: adequacy, functionality, and aesthetics. Let us go to the next slide. Good to go? Thank you, Sindhuja, Marin, Anita, Jairam. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, Beena. Oh, thank you for the appreciation. Yeah, I will take all the appreciations together today. School on institutional planning, infrastructure. So here we have to see institutional planning, infrastructure. What is the purpose of infrastructure planning? That is, what is the purpose of planning? Can you tell me why should we plan? What is the purpose of that policy overview? Predictability, yes. Then being prepared and not reactive, okay, for better execution, yes. Veena, failing to plan is failing to fail, okay, yes. So the purpose, scope, vision, and objectives of infrastructure planning is nothing but purpose is, yes, first purpose we have to think that ensure safe and sustainable facilities that support teaching learning. So safe, functional, and sustainable facilities. And what is the scope for this? The scope of this is it covers all physical and digital assets. It covers planning, budgeting, procurement, maintenance, and audits. It applies to all staff, vendors, and stakeholders. It encompasses the short-term operational needs and long-term development plans. What are the objectives? Vision. We should have, first we should have our vision for our school. Maintain. We will all write, innovative school, maintain innovation. Learner-centric school. We say activity-based school. We will write, in our vision. And that the school fosters academic excellence and holistic growth. That is one of the thing, we can say holistic. Bloom's taxonomy, what is holistic? The head, the cognitive domain, the heart, the affective domain, and the hands, the psychomotor domain. When these three domains are working properly, then it is holistic. Same way, our infrastructure also should be holistic to have a good excellence in academics. And our school, which has very good technology, we say. So our vision should have future ready, eco-friendly, and technologically advanced infrastructure. And we should always think about a benchmark quality education through world-class facilities. Sometimes we may be surprised when we go to a school, they say global technology school, they say. But it is not global technology school. When we go inside, there will not be any computers. I should not be telling like this openly. What is the vision they are telling? What is the name they are putting? But no, nothing is there. So we should have a vision, and our objectives should be for infrastructure planning should be safety. As Pallavi, it is fact. Objectives of infrastructure planning is safety and compliance, efficiency of our resources and infrastructure, sustainability, accessibility, innovation, and accountability. This is what the policy overview. And infrastructure planning framework, planning the principles, statutory requirements, long-term infrastructure vision. We should think that, but I believe we need not spend a lot in as we are getting. See, some of the managements, I would not want to say they invest everything, but there is nothing is, happening like recording or documents or planning is not happening. It is a waste. It is all dead investments. Instead of that, as per that, whatever we have, it should be proper. And then we have to have long-term infrastructure vision. With that, our planning should happen. Infrastructure development, expansion. Classrooms are increasing. Playground, we need more. modernization of our classrooms, accessibility, lift should be there or ramps should be there. This is very compulsory. CBSE has given now lot of guidelines for labs, computer lab. How many computers are needed? Earlier only 10 to 12 computers were needed. But now when the SAFL came into being, they have increased so many. The lab, and yes, 40. Thank you, Pallavi. 40 should be there. And earlier we had a small room as a biology lab, physics lab, chemistry lab, math lab. Now everything has changed. They have given us, this is the, in the beginning also CBSE has given us the guidelines for affiliation. What should be the size of the room? Yeah. Disabled, yes, toilets for the children, the special children and SOPs and composite lab. Yes, everything should be measured. Skill lab, how to make a skill lab, RAM. So you are all very much aware of that. But what is the problem? That we are planning policy component is there as well as component is there and key coverage is there. But are we keeping our documents ready? Do we have, see, I would like to tell, please mention, you can write down this. CBSE has introduced annual pedagogical plan. Okay. That is, we are making an annual pedagogical plan, and what are the teaching process, everything we can find. So that same thing CBSE is making here in the SQAAF, whether the school is running as per the annual pedagogical plan. Okay. In the case of infrastructure, everything it is like that. Who is responsible? Where are we now? From where now? Where we should go? When? Who is responsible? And what is the action taking place? This way they are telling us. So what we have to do, our curriculum. Curriculum is whatever happens in our school, no, that is throughout the year. That is a living document. Same way, our infrastructure document also should be a living document. Every day we should touch and go. Then there will be, we know what are the flows, where we can improve, whatever things we have to review, and the improvement plan should be done. Feedback and feed forward. So make our infrastructure documents as a living document. Never make it as a dead-end one. Only we take up when the inspection comes. That should change. Our mindset should change. Okay, we should have an infrastructure mind shift. Then again, many times, all of a sudden, CBSE issues certain circulars. Yes, CBSE issues certain circulars that is needed. Okay, we are not here to discuss about CBSE circulars. We are discussing about what are the best practices we can do. CBSE is a board, a premier board. Of course, that is, we are all the affiliated institutions. But when we do all these things, it is that we are, or the students and the institution, the management, they are all getting the benefit. Okay, so we should have minimum certain things. At least, this is helping us to plan and implement. And what are the objectives? They are telling us there is a purpose behind it. These are the scopes for this. Your vision is involved. And what are the objectives behind this? It is done. Then the learning outcome of the students. That is what SQAAF. SQAAF wants to, SQAAF document throws light on with the infrastructure, how the learning outcomes improves. The learning outcome improves. Safety and security framework, building safety. I was showing you all these things. Building safety register, fire safety, disaster preparedness, emergency protocols, SOPs. Health hygiene, again, water sanitation, waste management, green campus initiative. Never think that plant few trees during environment day, take pics and we go away. No. Who is responsible to bring that up? Make. Which class is responsible for? Initial stage, we have to feed them. Who will do it? So make. Who is responsible? So everything, we should have system, process. Health and hygiene, we spoke about ICT and learning infrastructure. All these activities, that is ICT facilities, laboratories, library, activity rooms, technology integration. Roles and responsibility. Who are the people? It is not only principal or the teacher. It is the management, principal, infrastructure committee. You are telling safety committee, same way. Infrastructure committee, maintenance staff. Give them classes. Make them aware of what happens. They do not have the education what we have. We have to make, if somebody comes to our campus, it is our duty to make them aware of what happens with the wet hand. The akkas, the helpers, they come from their home. They do all the work with their wet hands. They check the switches as well as the plug points. Shouldn't we give them an education? Maintenance staff, drivers, conductors, everybody should be educated. What should be their role? Enhance their knowledge. Make them literate. Stakeholders, even our parents. Monitoring and review. Infrastructure audits, inspections, feedback and feed forward, gap analysis, and review mechanism. We should have best review mechanism. Please offer an award for that. Who brings to your notice something, good ideas? Make that is innovation from the teacher or the person. Give them, keep just to tell, as there is an award for them. They will do all the work. One certificate will do. Make everybody motivated to invest their energy in taking care of our infrastructure. Governance and documentation. Budget allocation. Keep the record of that. Review the policies. Version control and continuous improvement. Track version control. Track the things. Sometimes what happens, the complete record will wash away. So version control and continuous improvement. Are you all okay? Can we go further? Thank you. Thank you so much for your appreciation. Next slide, please. Infrastructure development and improvement plan. So here, you just to see what are we going to develop and what is the improvement plan, what are the policy component, policy overview. Again, it will come. Key coverages, purpose, scope, objectives, and planning period. How many months or how many years we are planning. Infrastructure needs assessment, gap analysis, stakeholder requirements, future infrastructure needs. We have to need analysis should be done. Development priorities, which are the areas we have to develop. Priority areas for classrooms or laboratories or library or ICT or sports or health and other facilities. Infrastructure upgradation plan. Any upgradation is expansion, renovation, modernization, and accessibility improvements. Resource and budgeting. What are the finance? Finance comes to this management will ask us, why do you want money? We should be able to convince them. If we are not doing all these things, whose money will go at the end? We should make them aware. Budget allocation, resource mobilization. When somebody is investing, we should always think we have to take responsibility. This is our school, our responsibility. That in turn, we have to give to our students and teachers. Implementation roadmap, activity-wise timeline. See, we are doing so many activities in our school. Same thing you give to infrastructure development, how many months we are going to do. What is the timeline? That is very important in annual plan. And in the improvement plan also, how many months we take this. Milestones and execution strategy. Who will execute what? And time. Who are responsible for it? Management, committees, and implementation teams. Risk management and compliance. When the compliances and risk comes, we have statutory approval should be there, safety measures should be there, environmental and regulatory committee. Regulatory compliance should be there. Then monitoring. Again, same thing is repeating. Okay, monitoring and progress review, progress tracking, periodic reviews, corrective actions, and reporting. Last one, we become continuously improving by evaluating the outcomes. Feedback, feed forward, integration, and future improvement plans. So this is the way we can, in our infrastructure development, can be done with the improvement plan. Can we go to the next one? Thank you, Ashish, Merlin, Vandana. Yes, thank you. Next slide, please. Building layout. I was telling you there should be a building layout and infrastructure planning records. Now we are going to see policy documents and key coverage. Record overview. Everything will have a purpose, a scope, and objectives of infrastructure planning records. Campus layout. Master layout showing academic, administrative, and supportive facilities. Building floor plans. Each floor's classroom, laboratories, library, office, and activity room should have a floor plan. Space allocation. Spaces as per the statutory norms and institutional requirement. That is why we should always see CBSE affiliation manual. Thoroughly we have to learn. And what are the amendments I've told, that is what we have to do when we do building layout and infrastructure planning records. Accessibility plan, barrier-free access, ramps, lifts, accessible washrooms, and inclusive infrastructure. Inclusive infrastructure, if a child who is coming in a bus, who is on wheelchair, how the child should be coming to the classroom. Who will escort the child to the classroom? How the child will attend the assembly. Everything should be processed. Who will take care of the child to the class again? How the child will come back? How the child will go to the washroom? Who will take care of the child? So there are so many areas. These are all called process. What we speak, that speaking is nothing but process. Infrastructure, safety and emergency layout. Yes, exit, emergency exits, evacuation routes, fire safety equipment, and assembly points. See, teachers, when I went to Australia, I have stayed there 1 year. I visit around 20 to 30 schools. Okay, please press. Everywhere, all these safety aspects, infrastructure planning was completely displayed. Even their teachers' names, everything we can see. It is the number of students are less there, of course, but it is so the way they give importance for safety maintenance, we should learn from them. Everything has a big plan, and they are not keeping there as for the purpose of somebody to come and see. For the purpose of children, they first explain to them, make them understand. There will be drills for that, so that we also should do. The teaching learning process is continuous, but a child should learn certain life skills in life that we have to do. When a teacher, one lesson is not taught, also nothing will happen as per NEP. Teach them one life skill. How to escape. Safety and emergency layout, we have discussed. That is emergency exit. Okay, next, infrastructure expansion plan. Responsibility of the management, committees and implementation teams. Utility services mapping. What are the utility services? Water supply. Yes. Please also see what is the usage of water. So consumption. Sanitation. Plumbing is happening properly. Issues are there. When the plumber came, whatever the work he has done, what was the charge, who was responsible. Please make everything like this. Electrical systems, electrician when did he come? ICT network is not working. Waste management facilities. So we have to always think that is utility and services mapping. These are all policies, approval and compliance records. Who approves the building plan? I read out in the very first. Statutory approvals, safety certification, and NOC from the government. That is no objection certificate. Everybody will give us any certificates. Even government also will give us. Review and revision history. Periodic updates. Again, this is nothing but memories, institution memory. Periodic update, modification, approvals, and version control of layout plans. You just think of teachers, they make a question paper. The question paper will be going for a scrutiny, update, correction, modification, edit. We will edit, we delete, then the approval will come. Then what we do? Then we track That is, this is the way it is going. See, it will become a practice, a simple practice. Our chairman will say, small little practice, when we do every day, that makes a difference. Can we, good to go to the next slide? Thank you, Ashish. Okay. Thank you for the appreciation. Yeah. Building layout. Yes. Infrastructure, budget, and resource allocation. Budgeting. Okay. Resource allocation. Again, it is budget overview. That is a policy component, and key coverages, purpose, scope, budget period, and financial objectives. Infrastructure needs assessment. Budget requirements based on the infrastructure gaps and institutional goals. What we want and what are our goals. For that, what is the gap? How to fill it? Budget allocation plan, allocation for classrooms or library. Every year we have to buy books. You know that. You will be buying it. Laboratories, we will, every year, consumables are there. We will replace. ICT, computer is one of the expensive area. Sports. The children, they should have equipments, health and hygiene, safety and other facilities. Procurement, resource planning, procurement of process. This is again vendor selection, purchasing guidelines, and resource allocation. Maintenance, we have to keep a budget. Budget for preventive maintenance. Prevention is better than cure, right? Repairs, AMC, and infrastructure upkeep. Capital expenditure plan. Budget for new construction, expansion, modernization, and major infrastructure projects. Roles and financial responsibilities. Who are the people concerned here? Budget approval authority, mostly our management, responsibilities, and fund utilization mechanism. What fund is approved, that should be utilized very wisely. Budget monitoring and utilization, expenditure tracking, utilization reports, financial reviews, and variance analysis. See, we should be very, very careful, or we should be very expert in analyzing our budget, monitoring of our budget as well as how it is utilized. Risk and contingency planning. So emergency funds, like our life, we will also have insurance. Same way we have, that is maintenance. AMCs are there, emergency funds, contingency provisions, and resource optimization strategies. Review and continuous improvement. How can we improve? Or how can we improve our infrastructure? We should have budget evaluation. How many lakhs of rupees we spend this year? Financial auditing, stakeholder feedback, ask feedback from the stakeholders, and future budget planning. Sometimes everything will not go right. Something when will go wrong. How to rectify? That is why I always say, feed forward. We should not be blaming someone. Something happens. It is our responsibility to, in collaboration. That is why the first slide was telling, it is not person is doing it. It is collaboration. So a team will answer that. Next slide, please. Good to go, teacher. Friends. Yeah, Sindhuja. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Infrastructure budget and resource allocation we have done, right? This is done, right? Please, yeah. Please go to the next slide, Smriti. Yes. Asset, stock, and inventory register. What are the key components? You please, please take pick of this, okay? Clearly explained. Thank you, Lakshmi. Policy component, register overview. So everything, there is a purpose, there is a scope, there is a budget period and financial objectives. Asset identification. We should have no IDs. So now I have taken one, that is our affiliation file. I have taken this. So it should have a number, one ID for what purpose it is. It describes for what category it comes, and quantity and location. So this is a file. This is an asset. Procurement. So when you take any other thing, this is an example I was telling. Procurement, for that files, if you have procured, which date, who was applied, invoice number, cost, warranty details. This can be from a small file to you may buying AC, or we know that every year we are having, or we increase our resources. So all these things are needed. Warranty details, custodian and allocation, which department it goes, which room it goes, who is the custodian for that, responsible person, user responsibility and asset allocation. Stock, how it is moving, issue register, transfer, return register, disposal and replacement records. Physical verification, periodic stock verification, discrepancies and reconciliation records. We should have reconciliation records. Maintenance history, again, memories. Repair records, AMC details, servicing schedule and maintenance status. We will always, this is a problem we will face whenever the exams are coming, our systems as well as, we do many things, but it will go. We all experience this more in COVID time. Assess asset condition and depreciation. So our auditor will tell, or our auditing statement, you can see appreciation. What we say, depreciation and condition of the asset. What is the functional status and life cycle tracking. There are so many things and it will go, but we have to replace approval and authorization. Who will verify this? Who gives approval for procurement? From whom? Who the transfer, write-off and disposal. Review and updating. Periodic review, register update, inventory audit observations and corrective actions. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. Maintenance, repair and IMC records. Policy components, again, register overview. Purpose, scope, objectives of maintenance and IMC records. Asset or equipment. Facility name, location, asset ID and responsible department. Computer department. Librarian or the lab. The lab assistant or the nurse or the doctor. Maintenance schedule, preventive maintenance calendar. Yes, like an annual calendar, let us make a preventive maintenance calendar. We know annual calendar we'll put everything very well in our diary, and also we'll send one copy for the CBSE when the LOC form is filled. Let us have one preventive maintenance calendar, inspection frequency and servicing plan. Repair and broken down records, nature of the issue, complaint date, corrective action taken and the closure status. Annual maintenance contracts, vendor details, contract period, how many periods are there? If something happens in the warranty period happens means, then we will get the product repaired or replaced. Services covered, renewal and warranty details. Service and inspection reports, routine servicing records. Computer we need. Our systems should be always need servicing, inspection reports and compliance observations. Roles and responsibilities, maintenance team, service providers, verification authority and reporting mechanism. So these are the different committees or teams we should have for maintenance, repair and IMC records. Expenditure record, maintenance expenses, repair cost, IMC payment and budget utilization. Finally, monitoring and compliance, performance review. As teachers, we have performance review. You take something, you will feel This is not good. We can go to the to a new model. So modernization, what is, because repair cost, we know how much it is. AMC payment and budget utilization. Last one again, monitoring and compliance performance review, service quality assessment. Yes, I have read that. And again, pending issues and complaint status. So monitoring and compliance is very important for us because we check the performance and service quality assessment and what is a pending issue and the complaints status. Please make a note of that. Monitoring is very much important. Review and continuous improvement, trend analysis, recurring issues we have to check, corrective actions to be taken, and infrastructure improvement recommendation. So dear teachers, excuse me. So dear friends, if we keep records like this with the policies and evidences, don't you feel that if we keep like a calendar, annual planner, don't you feel that it will be easy for us? Do you feel that can we take up? Or it is only I can speak like this, we cannot do this way, the records, do you feel like that? What is your opinion? Yes, Ashish Kapoor, yes, Merlin, Sindhuja, Kumar, Gunjan, thank you. Yes, if you plan, one of you have written, if you plan to fail, then we fail. So we should have proper planning. Next slide. Next slide. The infrastructure utilization, accessibility. Yeah, very insightful and must preserve all. Yes, true. If this is 1 year, okay, 1 year we will have struggle to prepare records. But no, when we start, when we have committees, definitely we will do it. And it is learning. We are all learning how much we are spending unnecessary things, where we can spend better this amount or budget. Infrastructure utilization and accessibility records. Record component. Now you see, we have come to record component, it is not policy component, which are the record component and what is the key coverage. Record coverage of overview, purpose, scope, objectives of infrastructure, utilization and accessibility records. Infrastructure utilization plan, utilization of classrooms, library, laboratories, ICT facilities, activity rooms, and sports facilities. Usage records are timetables, occupancy schedules, facility booking records, and utilization of logs. Accessibility provisions, barrier-free access, ramps, handrails, then accessible washrooms, lifts, and inclusive infrastructure. Resource optimization, optimum utilization of available infrastructure. Shared resources and additional learning spaces. So these are the record component. But these things, if we have evidences, then SQAAF nothing to bother about. SQAAF is a wonderful document. And if we maintain that, we will become a world-class school. User feedback from students, teachers, and other stakeholders on infrastructure usage and accessibility. We should always take the feedback and feed forward from our students because they are enjoying it, they are using it. Roles and responsibilities. See, the other day when we were making for the investiture ceremony, the board, the teacher has made a board which is not they decorate the art teacher. Then I asked the children, do you have any idea to change this board in your own way? These things are there. How can we place it, adding your idea? The children immediately they gave me a sketch. I gave to the teacher, can you change the way you have done? Can you make this? Because there was no time. The sketch is done and the PT and the craft teacher or the art teacher, she did it very well. So we should ask the children, what infrastructure? This is our budget. How can we have? Today's students are They are awesome. They have wonderful ideas. They are very good innovators. Ask them before spending money. Roles and responsibilities. Responsibilities for scheduling, utilizing, accessibility, monitoring, and record maintenance. Monitoring and evaluation, facility utilization analysis, accessibility audits, and periodic reviews reports. So the report should be always periodically reviewed. Means not the resources should be periodically reviewed. That is one of the most important thing we should learn. See, we know academic auditing, but same way we should also know infrastructure. 10% out of 100, 40% is for the first domain, that is curriculum, assessment, and pedagogy and assessment. But here you can see 10% is for infrastructure. Why the CBSE has given 10% means all the schools which have their own unique problems, they will not be having such world-class facilities, but they also will have furnitures. How can they maintain? How can they record? That is what this particular that is what this particular domain teaching us. Next one is accessibility provisions. No, monitoring and evaluation. We finished. Gap identification and corrective action. The record component is that identification of underutilized facilities. There are so many facilities. We will buy things we don't use. Accessibility gaps and action taken. So everything should have an action. Some incident happened. Why it should not happen again? So we should take an action. Review and continuous improvement recommendations, infrastructure enhancement plans, and periodic updating of records. So these are all repetition, but we should see the heading. That is infrastructure utilization accessibility records. What are the record components and what are the key coverage? Coverage will be the same, but the record, how do we keep? That is what we have to think. In that particular record, what are the areas we have to cover? Next slide, please. School improvement plans for infrastructure development. Here also we can see that plan overview, purpose, scope, and objectives, and planning period, infrastructure needs and gap analysis, identify the gaps, stakeholder feedback, and priority areas for improvement. Improvement objectives are short-term and long-term infrastructure enhancement goals, action plan, improvement activities, timelines, responsible persons, and implementation strategy. Then third one you see resource, the fifth one you see, excuse me. Sorry, it was a very urgent call. Action plan, we have gone through resource and budget allocation, again financial planning, resource requirements and funding allocation, risk assessment and mitigation, potential implementation challenges and mitigation measures. So anything, as we are telling, school is a place where human beings are living organisms. So there is always opportunities, an electric shock which can happen. I do not want to say these things because I believe that we should always pray that our school should be very safe for us as well as for our children. Monitoring framework, progress indicators, review schedule, and monitoring responsibilities. What are the expected outcomes? This is very important for us. Intended impact on learning environment, students' learning outcome, students' safety, accessibility, and resource utilization. Evaluation and reporting is the plan component. You see here, progress reviews, overcome evaluation, documentation and reporting mechanism. Continuous improvement, That is, we should always have follow-up actions, plan revising, stakeholder feedback feed forward, and future enhancement strategies. Good to go to the next slide. The next slide will be a different slide. Yeah. This is, as you know that, thank you. As you know, next slide, common mistakes. Yeah. Here is our common mistakes. You see what we do normally. What is the best practice? Common mistake is maintaining infrastructure but not document its planning, maintenance, and review. We are just like this. Volcanoes are of different types. Some of them are sleeping volcanoes, dormant, some of are very active volcanoes. We will be sleeping or dormant, all of a sudden, we will come to know there is an inspection or somebody is coming, then we do all the work. So we should be always preparing documents only during inspection and or accreditation. No. We should update documents and registers throughout the academic year. Policies exist but are not supported with implementation records. Link every policy with register. Which policy? Transportation policy, transportation register, reports, photographs, and review records. What we have to improve this year? Every day is an experience in a school. So please make a note of it. Every day we should have one book which should, whatever you come to know, please do write down. Asset and stock register are incomplete and physically not verified. Regularly update, verify inventories and supporting evidences. You will be able to say how many, whatever you buy, chairs are there, sitting chairs for the guests or for an auditorium. So how many are there? You will be telling how many are not there, what is broken. Everything will give us in a detailed way. Why I do not say you have to reflect. I am reflecting my own way. You have to reflect your school, what all things we can make. Everything need not be there. What resources you have, accordingly you make the registers, documents, and evidences. Infrastructure improvement are made without document the need or a rationale. Base improvements on gap analysis, stakeholder feedback, and infrastructure reviews. Monitoring reports identify gaps but no follow-up. What is the use? Document corrective action, timeline, responsibilities, and review outcomes. Last one, documents are scattered here and there. Like an active volcano, one day the dormant stage will go, it will come out. Then across departments with no centralized record management. We should have a centralized record management system. Maintain a structured documentation system with version control and easy retrieval. Good to go to the next slide. Thank you, Marlene. Are you all? Yeah, the next slide on now. Now we will have our SQAAF is coming, the document. Smriti, can you go to the next slide, please? Yes. This is, I hope, this is the SQAAF document. Okay. You all can access this. You just type SQAAF, That is School Quality Assessment Assurance Framework, Central Board of Education, the new document. You can see such thick book. You can see how much I have read before going for an inspection, because we should inspect properly. We are going there as peer assessors. We are not going as inspectors. But the CBSE has planned to make it is just like an inspection. So here you can see mapping documents with SQAAF. How do we map this? This is very important for us. So all these documents we have discussed now in this webinar. The Luneblaze has done such a wonderful way. They have given this presentation, how to make these records, evidences, and what are the documents, that is documents or evidences. Then how can we improve our system? Once our infrastructure is improved, our learning outcomes are improved. Now you see the document which whatever we discussed, everything has come over here. School policy on institutional planning, infrastructure development and improvement plan, building layout and infrastructure planning records, infrastructure budget and resource allocation, asset stock and inventory register, maintenance, repair and AMC records, infrastructure utilization and accessibility record, infrastructure monitoring review and gap analysis, school improvement plan for infrastructure enhancement. You can see here, there are so many, what we say, one second, okay, I just want to tell you. This domain has domain overview. Okay, it has domain overview, and infrastructure domain, it is starting with adequacy, functionality, and aesthetic. This was the question was asked on that day. Do you remember that? So the B is the answer, where everything is proper. We do not see only the beauty of the building, but properly used resources or infrastructure according to the number of the students. That is adequacy. Everything is functioning properly. And aesthetic, there is an aesthetic way of the learning spaces. Now, when we go here, subdomain 2.1 will come, and what are the standards are coming here. So 2.1, classrooms, library, laboratories, we discussed all these points. Okay, 2.1, 2.2, principal's office. Do you see that? We discussed all these points. But here, there is some alert CBSE has told. That is, one is in 2.3.1, there is an alert is given. That is nothing but the school has effective preventive health care and health management facilities. That means they are very much, they will look into the infirmary and health management facilities. Again, they will see the school follows eco-friendly green practices. It is written over here. Green practices to promote or inculcate organic lifestyle among the students. The next alert point is 2.8.1. That is, you can see playground and sports facilities. These are the areas they are asking us. Here, we have around 600 standards are there. Okay, 600 standards in SQAAF domain. SQAAF domain infrastructure has 42 standards. Okay, and as teachers or principals or administrators or anybody, any one of as a stakeholder, I tell you, dear friends, that we have to read the document, and some of the documents may be connected with one or the other domain. Otherwise, we have to keep 600 domains. It is very tedious task. So support us, Luneblaze. That is, their motto is that inducing quality in education. They are doing a lot of work. So I feel, this webinars will enlighten us to understand more. Now I'll go to the next slide. Yeah. Thank you, Pallavi. Yeah, this is mark mistakes, common mistakes, documentation or audit ready. Okay, what makes, it's not common mistakes, I'm sorry, what makes documentation audit ready? An audit ready document is not just complete, it is accurate, current, evidence-based, aligned with institutional practices. What are they? Please read it. Audit readiness checklist, approved by the competent authority, properly signed, dated, and version controlled, clearly defines roles, responsibilities, supported by relevant evidence and records. This is what checklist, periodically monitored and reviewed, linked to corrective actions and improvement plans, updated regularly and reflects current practices, easily accessible and systematically filled. Next, ma'am. Good to go to the next slide. Yeah, thank you, Marine. SQAAF expects the school to provide a healthy, safe, and environmentally responsible learning environment. What are the key expectations in health, hygiene, and sustainable campus? Functional infirmary. We have an infirmary, whether it is functional or not, with essential medical facilities and health records, periodic health checkups and preventive healthcare initiatives, safe drinking water, systems, well-planned drainage, hygienic campus maintenance, promotion of eco-friendly practices, organic living, energy conservation, green initiatives across the school. They have given very clearly what are very alert points for CBSE. Thank you, Luneblaze. You have given a wonderful slide for this. I think S- Smriti, Smriti, you have done this slide. I think it is done very well. Yeah. Next slide. Next, please. If safety and student support system, SQAAF promotes a culture of safety, preparedness, and student well-being. Key expectation of SQAAF is school safety system aligned with National Disaster Management and NCPCR guidelines. Clearly defined standard operating procedures for emergencies. Safe and accessible playgrounds, sports facilities, hygienic and well-managed school canteen, safe, secure and monitored transport and escort facility. We are doing it, but are we recording it? Next. Next slide, please. Curiosity question you can see here. As per SQAAF, while evaluating school infrastructure, how are the parameters, adequacy, functionality, and aesthetics best understood? You can see the answer over there. You have done this in the WhatsApp, I hope. Adequacy is equal to availability of sufficient resources as per student strength. Functionality is equal to resources are usable, safe, and serve the intended purpose. Aesthetics, clean, well-maintained, and pleasing learning environment. Shall we go to the next slide, please? Good to go, dear friends. Thank you, Pallavi. Yeah, this is a case study of a school. We will learn. This is as per the CBSE competency. There is a case study always Luneblaze give us, which induces quality in our education system. Let us learn from individual efforts to institutional systems. It is not an individual run the show. It is a system runs the show. Whoever leaves or comes, the system runs. ABC Public School had well-developed infrastructure, including modern classrooms, science laboratories, library, ICT facilities, sports infrastructure, and safety provisions. However, during an internal SQAAF readiness review, several documentation gaps were identified. Infrastructure planning was not supported by a formal policy or long-term development plan. Asset and stock registers were incomplete and not regularly updated. Maintenance and repair activities were carried out, but records and IMC documentation were inconsistent. Infrastructure upgrades were implemented without documented needs assessment or budget justification. Monitoring reports identified issues, but corrective actions and follow-up reviews were not recorded. As a result, what happens? The school found it difficult to demonstrate systematic infrastructure management despite having adequate facilities. Now let us see the next part of the case study. Next slide, please. The school adopted a structured documentation framework aligned with the SQAAF Domain 2. You see, developing a school policy on institutional planning, that is infrastructure. Preparing an infrastructure development and improvement plan based on identified needs. What is needed? Standardizing asset, stock, maintenance and utilization of records. They established a periodic infrastructure monitoring and review mechanism, linking infrastructure improvement plans with budget allocation, stakeholder feedback, and gap analysis. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So you see the implementation. The school constituted an infrastructure management committee to oversee documentation and implementation. What are the key actions included? conducting a comprehensive infrastructure audit and physical verification. You have to verify physically, then only will come to know what is our infrastructure, where we have to improve it. Digitalizing infrastructure records and introducing version control, scheduling quarterly maintenance reviews and annual infrastructure assessments, maintaining evidence such as photographs before and after images, inspection reports, AMC records, and reviewed minutes. Reviewing infrastructure performance regularly and documenting corrective actions. That helped. Next slide, please. The outcome came like this. Within one academic year, the school achieved standardized and audit-ready infrastructure documentation, improved maintenance planning, and a timely resolution of infrastructure issues. Fix the problem then and there. Better utilization of learning spaces and physical resources, enhanced compliance with statutory requirements and institutional policies, strong evidence of planning, implementation, monitoring, and continuous improvement during SQAAF assessment. Now you see planning, implementation, monitoring, and continuous improvement. Everything is interconnected. Thus, you can see the documentation do not expose weaknesses. It revealed hidden gaps in the system. Finally, you can see the conclusion. The strength of SQAAF Domain 2 lies not only in providing quality infrastructure, but in demonstrating through systematic documentation that every facility is planned, maintained, monitored, and continuously improved to support a safe, inclusive, and effective learning environment, which results in complete or achieving the learning outcomes of the students. Next slide, please. This is the suggested. You can see this is there in the document system of SQAAF. There, what are the registers we have to follow? Almost all these registers we have followed, we have discussed here, and they will ask, you can see that whether these registers are available or not. You can say yes, no, or in progress, but all the registers you have to properly maintain. It is not that yes or no. It should be progressive. It is always in progress. That means we are doing something. Okay. And these are all the points we have discussed. So a final thought from my mind, what comes to me is infrastructure is not about building and equipment, but it should be vision-driven ecosystem. So when we have the infrastructure or the building, that is, this is already there, but there should be a vision-driven which will give this ecosystem, sustainability. So next, any other area? Next slide. Do you want me to repeat this? It is again the same. It is there in the SQAAF document. Yeah. If you prefer to connect personally or have further questions after the webinar, feel free to reach out at luneblaze.com. Okay. And the next slide, please.
Also, in the meantime, if you have any questions, we will be allowing you all to unmute yourself and speak with ma'am. So if you have any questions, please keep noted and we'll discuss it later.
So I would like to say one more point, that it should be not an individual approach. It should be a whole school approach. And we should have zero tolerance policy against any negligence from any part or any person or any infrastructure. No, there should not be, it should not be happening. And I finally say that we should be always sustainable schools. Okay, our teachers always should be thinking that how I have an annual pedagogical plan. How do I plan my subjects for teaching? Same way I have a curriculum. I should have a living document of my infrastructure planning. So it is also a living document, and take care of that every day, because we live in a school where everybody are again living. Okay, so we need space, we need oxygen. So thank you so much, dear teachers. If you have Alka, Aurora, if you have any questions, you can please do ask. Now let me see the conclusion. Effective infrastructure documentation transforms physical facilities into measurable evidence of quality. What is measurable? That becomes quality. By integrating planning, implementation, monitoring, and continuous improvement, schools can confidently demonstrate excellence in SQAAF domain too. So good infrastructure supports learning, great documentation sustains it. Thank you everyone for your appreciation. And if you have any doubts, you can ask. I try to finish. This time we have finished on time. Thank you, Anirudh sir. And SQAAF is mandatory. This is very important for us. It is very mandatory. Who is this for? All CBSE schools. When to submit? Till 31st December 2026 is the last date. For our affiliation, section increase, and third one is your upgradation. You need SQAAF to fill. It is mandatory. And during the December, you will get a invitation letter. That is, no, your school will be randomly selected, and you will get a notice that a circular that your school has been as a sample, or SQAAF team will comment and give your mentors. They say peer mentors. We are called as mentors. Okay, we will come and check the schools, and we'll get the notification by December. So when to submit on the SQAAF portal, where to submit, they have given very clearly who is this for, all CBSE schools. When, timeline. Where to submit, SQAAF portal, login with the LOC user ID and password. What school should prepare for? 1,500 plus documents and evidences as per SQAAF handbook. How will CBSE inspections occur? Peer assessment team will visit the school for inspection. What to submit? SQAAF self-assessment along with self-improvement plans. So I'll again tell you, as a mentor, when we visited one school, there will be two mentors, okay? Two peer assessors, we call us. And all this SQAAF domain, you are going to self-assess. Nobody will come and tell you this is correct, or whatever you are having with your own conscious, you are self-assessing it. So what happens, naturally, when we self-assess, we will give our school a very good marks. You will give out of 600, you will be giving 500 something. Your rating will be there. But actually, when we visit that school, they will not even get 30% of marks. So it is always better to have people like this SQAAF. This is only I mean to say company, educational company, or I do not know how to call them. They have this facility provided. So if at all you feel our school needs this, you can have discussion with them, and always you will have you can have a preparedness. It is not that SQAAF letter will come, this then we will try. No, you try all these things. But if you have anything you want to know more about it, please do approach them or mail to them. They will also support you. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. Is it over? Smriti?
Ma'am, we have the CBSE inspection slide pending.
Yeah, sorry. CBSE inspection slide, how it is conducted. Random selection out of this, so many schools. 5% schools are conducted. The school CBSE will take. And what is happening? Some schools, if they would feel that they have to have on demand, that is, if you request, we would like to improve our system, we can have, you can request to CBSE portal, SQAAF portal. If you send a mail, they will definitely take your school also to consider, and they will give you the SQAAF advice on that. So you will come to know where do you stand. And it may be conducted at the time of granting extension of affiliation to the school. Now, next you see description. Purpose, see, inspection for SQAAF is promote self-improvement. We should self, that means, self-learners, focus on process-oriented. Duration is continuous and ongoing. Target group is all CBSE and non-CBSE schools. Many of the states, they have adopted this system by the government. They have taken this. They are implementing this loan-based their SQAAF inspections. They are doing, they are assessing the schools, and rating descriptors are provided very well in the manual. Provides detailed self-improvement descriptors. Support is given, which includes self-assessment tools and school capacity building. Assessment is done, that is self-assessment and peer mentors. So you will assess, and based on that, the peer mentors will assess, and we will send a report on all the 10 domains and send it to CBSE. What will be the outcome? It will help the school to set goals for continuous growth. Any doubts, dear friends? Do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts? Okay. Yes. Next slide. Yeah.
So I'll take ahead from here, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. It was actually truly an insightful and interesting session. And thank you again for helping us all understand that, the documents in SQAAF Domain 2 is much more than, maintaining the records.
Yeah.
It basically reflects that how effectively a school plan, is created, and how we manage it and maintain and monitor, the things, and continuously improve our infrastructure, accordingly to support the quality in the education. And I'm sure that today's discussion, have provided us all with the valuable clarity on that how meaningful documentation strengthens the institutional quality, how it promotes safety and inclusivity, and how it supports the continuous improvement. So, ma'am, your practical suggestions have actually made the expectations of SQAAF Domain 2 much more clearer and, approachable for all the schools and everyone present here. So at Luneblaze, we are also committed to helping schools simplify their SQAAF journey with strengthening quality systems, streamlining documentation, and providing the expert guidance through training, audit, implementation support, and the continuous handholding. Our goal is to help the institutions move beyond the compliance and build the systems that, that truly reflect quality and institutional excellence. So as part of this commitment, we are also delighted to introduce the Luneblaze SQAAF Readiness Score. That is basically a smart system, assessment feature that is designed to help schools evaluate their preparedness across all the 7 frameworks of SQAAF. It provides, a clear picture of the school's current readiness, identifies, the areas that require attention, and offers actionable insights to help you all strengthen the journey in a more structured and a focused manner. So by enabling schools to regularly assess their progress, the readiness score will make the journey towards SQAAF implementation more measurable, systematic, and effective. So again, I would like to mention that over 100 plus schools across the country have partnered with Luneblaze and taking the services for implementing SQAAF in their respective schools. And if your school is looking forward to strengthen its SQAAF Domain 2 documentation and improve the infrastructure management system or enhance its overall SQAAF readiness, we invite you all to schedule a complimentary consultation with our team using the link displayed on your screen. So let's together build the stronger systems, meaningful documentation, and more confident journey towards the institutional excellence. So as we finally conclude the session, it was a wonderful discussion with you all, and would like to say that our session for today is over, and we'd like to warmly invite you for our upcoming webinar, where we'll be exploring another important domain of SQAAF and share more practical implementation focused strategies to help the schools strengthen their quality systems. Now we look forward to welcoming you again and continuing this journey of building quality-driven and future-ready institutions together. So, with this coming to the final discussion, if any one of you is having the question, please you can just raise your hand so that we can unmute yourself and you can connect with ma'am directly for any of the queries if you are having. Alka ma'am, at the end of the slide, I share the contact number and the email address. Well, it's mentioned here as well. So you can consider this email to reach out for any of the assistance required in SQAAF. Any questions, please let me know. You can raise your hands and do the discussion. Just a final conclusion pending so that you can get the updates on the certificate and other things. So please wait for a few more minutes. I'm believing that there is no further question and we are proceeding with the conclusion of this webinar. So thank you so much everyone for being here today, and conclude this session. Let's reflect on one important message, that SQAAF Domain 2 is not just about infrastructure, but about demonstrating how it is planned, managed, maintained, and continuously improved through meaningful documentation. Now, we hope that today's discussion has provided you all with the practical insights to strengthen your infrastructure systems and align effectively with the SQAAF expectations. On behalf of the entire Luneblaze team, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Ms. Minnie Johnny, for sharing her valuable knowledge, practical experience, and expert guidance with us all today. I would also like to thank all our participants for your enthusiastic participation and engagement throughout the session. And before we conclude, we request you to kindly share the feedback. The link will be provided in the WhatsApp group of the webinars that you are in. And participation certificates will be shared on your registered email IDs within the coming week. And you'll get a mail for that and you can download with the process given accordingly. So at Luneblaze, we remain committed to supporting you all, the schools, to expert guidance, structured documentation frameworks, and innovative solutions like SQAAF Readiness Score, helping institutions implement SQAAF with the confidence. So thank you once again, all of you, for joining us today, and we look forward to welcoming you all for the upcoming SQAAF webinars. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful messages.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Smriti, for having so much patience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a wonderful partner for me for my 2 webinars. You are there.
Yeah.
I think we sync now.
Definitely. Looking forward to more webinars with you.
Thank you all the participants for your wonderful encouragement during the session. Please do learn, be a lifelong learner. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Can I leave?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.